feel like it's that random time between Christmas and New Year where no one knows what day it is, but all you do is stay inside, watch crappy TV and eat? Or is that just me? Hello everybody, welcome back to Stagey Bookish. My name is Olivia. How's it all going? Lockdown, stuck inside? We all still surviving, yeah? Doing what we need to do for the greater good here, yeah? Not just being at home. We're not just at home, we are at home and staying safe. And I pray wherever you are, whatever you are doing, watching this, if you are watching this video, that you and yours are being the safest that you can be, and you are as well as can be. Today's video is about something I was the inspiration behind today's video was actually from something I saw from a video by the absolute queen that is Chelsea Dolling Reads, where she recently spoke about books she's really excited to get to. So some of those were new releases, some of those were backlists, some of those were ARCs, and it kind of made me think about that one of the areas of my TBR that I'm really excited to get to at the moment is I'm very blessed to have a number of advanced reader copies, or ARCs, that I have been approved for, and I'm getting the chance to read and review not only for my day job as a librarian but for you guys here on BookTube, and I wanted to celebrate that. So at current count I have 36 e-ARCs, okay, 36 e-ARCs that are all out, either are just out, soon to be out, or I think my latest one is I've got one that's not out till October that I can read now. And basically I wanted to share some of the awesomeness that is coming up in the book world with you, things that I'm excited about, things I'm intrigued by, because some of the titles that I've been approved for are ones that I have gone out and gone, oh my god, I really want to read this. Some I've gone, that sounds really interesting actually, I'd really like to learn some more about that. Or it's a brand new author or someone I follow online and they've published a book for various reasons, I've gone, yes, I am here for this. So today we are going to look at my ARC TBR. Are you ready for this? Let's do it. Okay, to start off with, I am filming this on Thursday the 9th of April. So out of my whole ARC pile at the moment, I have 2 that are already out. Okay, so let's talk about those first. I'm going to put up covers here if there is a cover for it. And yeah, let's just share some awesomeness. The first one I've got, and by the way, I've also picked all these release dates up from Goodreads. The first one I've got is 152 Days by Giles Paley Phillips. Sorry, Giles. I follow Giles on Twitter. He is an amazing person. This one, the synopsis of it, to give you an idea, some very kind of sensitive topics. He will be allowed to visit his mother soon. His mother who is terminally ill. His mother who he had been barred from seeing as he recovers from his own bout of pneumonia. Until then, with the help of his physiotherapist Freya, he must navigate his increasingly empty and isolated existence. His father, who finds solace in the bottom of a glass. His Nana Q, whose betting slip confetti litters her handbag. His friends who simply wouldn't understand. Time passes with the promise of soon, but 152 days later, the boy will come face to face with his grief and move beyond to a world full of possibility, hope and love. It's gonna break me. It's gonna break me, but I love Giles. I want to support where I can so I can shout about this, so expect me to be reading this hopefully very soon. I have got an April TBR which I'll link down below if you haven't seen it already, but this will be coming soon because I just want to show him all the love and support I can. He's a lovely guy. The next one I already have that is already out and fits at the moment with this kind of theme of kind of romance and Regency books I'm reading. It's called To Have and To Hoax by Martha Waters. This came out on the 7th of April 2020. Regency England, feigning illness, I think there's a bit of fake dating, the love matches, it just seems like kind of the best kind of old school romantic comedy that I could possibly read. So I'm really intrigued by that. It actually says kind of in the synopsis, perfect for fans of Jasmine Guillory and Julia Quinn. I've not read from either of those authors, but if you have, then maybe you will like this. Again, I'll be coming to this soon as well because 2 of my most recent reads have been essentially Regency rom-coms. So this will be on the list. We now move forward to books that aren't out yet, but are starting. The first one comes out next week, the 16th of April, and that is The Eve Illusion by Tom and Giovanna Fletcher, who are very well known across the world, and particularly here in the UK. This is the sequel to their first book, Eve of Man, which I have not read yet. but I am going to read before I read this. They literally, everything they touch turns to gold. And if you haven't followed either of them on Instagram, please go and do, because their streams, particularly at the moment with their 3 sons in lockdown, are just the most beautiful thing ever. Okay. Also out, that's next week. The week after next, on the 21st of April, which is my sister's birthday. We have Shorefall by Robert Jackson Bennett. Yes, I pronounced that right. Shorefall by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is the sequel to Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett. I picked this one up out of curiosity because Sam over at Thoughts and Times, I remember her reading it and speaking very highly of it, particularly with the magic system. This is the direct follow-up to that. It's not Robert Jackson Bennett's debut, but I am really interested in this. So I'm going to do Foundryside, which is on my April TBR, I think. And then I'm going to definitely go straight into Shorefall. That'll be an amazing one as well. Then moving forward to the 28th of April, we have 7 Endless Forests by April Genevieve to Chalk. I know she released a book last year, The Boneless Mercies, which was a retelling of something, and I can't remember which. And I think this is the idea. This is a companion. I think it's a companion novel, but this is to do with a King Arthur retelling. And I know Boneless Mercies was a bit hit and miss for some people, but I love kind of Arthurian legends and all that, because that's one of my things kind of from older history that I like. So King Arthur has won this for me. I told you I had some awesome ones, didn't I? That's just April. I know. We move into May, and one of my most anticipated releases of the year comes out on May 5th, and that is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. Poet X, loved it. With the Fire on High, loved it. Clap When You Land has already been announced to be a return to a novel in verse, just like the Poet X was. And I know the basic kind of concept behind it is that you have two girls who both live separate lives. One lives in New York, one lives, God, where is it? Lives in the Dominican Republic, and both find out on the same day that their fathers have been killed. What they don't realise is they have the same father, and the father has been living 2 separate lives. And it's kind of how they have to not only process the death of their father, but also come to terms with everything they didn't know about the other side of their father's life. So it's meeting, and it's going to be emotional, it's going to be dramatic. I have to say, I'm not sure if it's scheduled to come out at the same point as the book, but I probably will hold off for this one until the audio book comes out, because Elizabeth Acevedo usually narrates her own audiobooks, and she has that kind of that flair and that talent when it comes to spoken word. So definitely I will be watching out for that one. Also on May 5th, another sequel where I haven't read the first one yet, is Aurora Burning by Amy Kaufman and the icon that is Jay Kristoff. This is the sequel to Aurora Rising, which came out about this time last year and is kind of YA, sci-fi, misfits trying to save the universe kind of thing. One of my 2020 goals this year is actually to read more of Jay Kristoff's backlist, so this and its predecessor will definitely be happening for me. While also on the 5th of May, this is kind of, I really like the look of this, I think this is going to be like a next read or a soon to be read for me, is The Life and Medieval Times of Kit Sweetly by Jamie Paxton. I think it's a debut, please correct me if I'm wrong. Let me read you the synopsis for this, because this just sounds amazing. Kit Sweetly slays sexism, bad bosses and bad luck to become a knight at a medieval themed restaurant. Working as a wench at a cheesy medieval themed restaurant in the Chicago suburbs, Kit Sweetly dreams of being a knight like her brother. She has the moves, is capable on a horse, and desperately needs the raise that comes with the knighthood, so she can help her mom pay the mortgage and hold a spot at her dream college. Company policy, however, only allows guys to be knights, so when Kit takes her brother's place and reveals her identity at the end of the show, she rockets into internet fame and a whole lot of trouble with management. But the girl knight won't go down without a fight, as other wenches join her quest at protest forms. In a joust before castle executives, they'll prove that gender restrictions should stay medieval if they don't get fired first. Preach it, ladies! Like I said, the past 2 books I've read, one was Victorian England, and the other one was set at a Renaissance fair. But you can work out what that. So I am absolutely living for this kind of time period and this style at the moment. That is 5th of May, but that will definitely be happening for me soon. Moving on in May, we are to the 12th. We have The Henna Wars by Adiba Jagidar. I'm sorry if I haven't pronounced that correctly. This again apparently is pitched as When Dimple Met Rishi meets Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. I believe this is queer. Yes, Muslim rep and queer rep. I'm here for it. I don't even need to know anymore. Also, how beautiful is this cover? How beautiful is this cover? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Moving forward on to the 12th of May, this is on my April TBR, so you'll be getting this soon, is Girl Serpent Thorn by Melissa Bashadost. It's here, if I haven't said it right. And again, a captivating and utterly original fairy tale about a girl cursed to be poisonous to the touch and who discovers what power might lie in such a curse. Here for it, totally here for it, totally here for it. Love me kind of those kind of gothic-y fairy tale fantasy retellings. Moving on to mid-late May, this is another one I blame Chelsea Dolling Reeves for. Beach Read by Emily Henry is the next arc I've got. And essentially, if you've watched one of Chelsea's most recent reading vlogs, which I'll link down below, she could not get enough of this book. Her friends had recommended it to her, and then she did the blog while reading it and absolutely loved it. It's basically a thing that you have a girl who is a smutty romance or a romance writer, and she's hit a kind of writer's block. She goes to a family cabin for the summer. To get away from everything, and her next door neighbour is like this stuffy guy writer who only writes literary fiction. So they're like polar opposites to each other, but they essentially challenge each other. So she's going to write literary fiction and he's going to write romance, but apparently it's brilliant and apparently it's smutty as hell. 19th of May. That's happening on the 19th of May. I've liked it. Moving towards the last week in May, we now have the 26 Early Departures by Justin A. Reynolds. Justin A. Reynolds is the author of Opposite of Always, another one that's divided opinion a little bit, but this just really kind of came... The synopsis won me on this. Where are we? A powerful and standalone YA contemporary novel with a speculative twist in which Jamal's best friend is brought back to life after a freak accident, but they only have a short time together before he will die again. What are you authors trying to do to me with all this death and reincarnation and stuff? It's just going to hurt my heart. It's going to hurt my heart, and I'm really not sure what to do with it. But I'm also very excited to read that. That's one of the ones I've got approved for recently. Another one that I got approved for recently, which comes out on the 28th of May, is the new one from Juno Dawson, Wonderland. Again, we have a What Happens When You Fall Down the Rabbit Hole? Alice in Wonderland dark retelling. I love this. A searing exploration of mental health, gender and privilege from the most addictive YA novelist in the UK today. It does say it is... Does it say it's a follow-up to her previous books? The compulsive must have follow-up to Clean and Meat Market. So I don't know if they're in the same world or this is something separate. If you do know, let me know down below. Whew! God, that's a long list. And that's only up till the end of May. And we go straight into June where there's hundreds and hundreds of more releases. 2nd of June is a big release day. So I think a lot of people were like, was it March 2nd or March 3rd was a big release day? June 2nd, there's a lot of books coming on June 2nd. So we have got The State of Us by Sean David Hutchinson, political romantic comedy. We have got A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow, which is giving me all these kind of mermaid vibes. And sirens, and it just sounds absolutely amazing, this does. Probably one of my most anticipated books of the year also comes out on June 2nd, and that is Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis, sold to me as Moulin Rouge meets Phantom of the Opera. Favourite things. Oh my god, I'm so excited. That and kind of the new Mackenzie Lee that's coming out in September, my two most anticipated books of the year, and I am so bloody excited for those. Moving on to the 9th of June, this is one that I have seen recommended by Chelsea Palmer, The Mall by Megan McCafferty. It's easy for me to read you this synopsis. The year is 1991. Scrunchies, mixtapes and 90210 are like totally fresh. Cassie Worthy is psyched to spend the summer after graduation working at the Parkway Centre Mall. In 6 weeks, she and her boyfriend head off to college in NYC to fulfil the plan. Higher education and happily ever after. But you know what they say about the best laid plans? I love it. You know, I'm just absolutely here for that. That is the kind of light stuff I need right now because my brain is not letting me focus on too much deep stuff. 11th of June, we head on. This is another one where I haven't read the first two books yet, but I'm going to before I read this. The Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty is out on the 11th of June, which is I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, the third book in the series with City and Brass of Kingdom of Copper. I know certainly Fairy Loot are doing a set of special editions of these, and they are absolutely fucking stunning. So I have the first two, just haven't read them yet. I've also been recommended City of Brass and Kingdom of Copper on audiobook, so that might be happening soon, but this is 11th of June. 16th of June is another one I've heard a lot of talk about on kind of YA book Twitter. I'll Be the One by Lila Lee. The world of K-pop, you've got a girl who, essentially a fat girl, who wants to be a K-pop star, and she's worried because not all, you know, K-pop stars are usually really thin and kind of not the complete opposite to her, but she's determined to prove them wrong. And I'm like, yes, girl, as a fellow fat girl, I am here for that. 16th of June also, this one I'm really excited about, Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. So this is book 3 in her Once Upon a Con series. First one was Geekarella, which I adored. The second one was The Princess and the Fangirl, which I couldn't get on with at all. It didn't catch my attention at all. But if you've watched any videos of me here on my channel before, you know what me and Beauty and the Beast retellings are like, so I am absolutely here for this. Moving on to the 25th of June, we have the new one from Sarah Barnard, which is called Destination Anywhere. That's going to be a good, you know, Sarah Barnard explores love, life and friendship in this exquisite tales of the lengths one girl will go to change her story. Oh, I think that's going to be a particularly good one for the students that I work with, actually. It's the idea of, you know, she's leaving sixth form to go to university and different things like that. We move into July and we get some superhero vibes. So on the 14th of July, we have TJ Klune's The Extraordinaires, a queer coming-of-age story about a fanboy with ADHD and the hero he loves. Does that not just sound like the most precious thing you've ever seen in your entire life? It's described as Rainbow Rowell's Fangirl meets Marissa Meyer's Renegades in TJ Klune's YA debut. That is one that needs to be on your radar, folks. Another one, again, this, according to Goodreads, is 21st of July. I thought it was May, but it might have been pushed back. More Than Maybe by Erin Hahn. Now, I picked up Erin Hahn's previous YA book, You'd Be Mine, last year. It gave me a lot of kind of Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga, Star is Born vibes, just without the death. And I really enjoyed it. I didn't expect to. But that is what happened here. So I'm intrigued to see what Erin Hahn does with another book. Oh my god, are we in August already? Yeah, on to August. More Than Just a Pretty Face by Saeed Masood. Fans of Becky Albertelli and Jenny Han, a sweetly funny YA rom-com debut about falling in love, familial expectations and being a renaissance man. Are we noting a key word here, folks? A key word. Renaissance man. Anyone would think I've got a type. I'm saying nothing at all. We move on forward. Again, according to Goodreads, this is September. I think this is another one that got pushed back from May. We Are Not Free by Tracy Chi is now slated for a 1st of September release. 14 teens who have grown up together in Japantown, San Francisco. 14 teens who form a community and a family as interconnected as they are conflicted. 14 teens whose lives are turned upside down when over 100,000 people of Japanese ancestry are removed from their homes and forced into desolate incarceration camps. In a world that seems determined to hate them, these young people must rally together as racism and injustice threatens to pull them apart. Heavy, but it's nice to see some Japanese rep in that kind of YA story. Very similarly, also on the 1st of September, The Black Kids by Christina Hammonds Reed talks about the story is through the eyes of a wealthy teenager who gets caught up in the 1992 Rodney King riots in LA. That's going to be an absolutely powerful read as well. Moving on to the 8th of September, Ben Felipe, who you may know from The Field Guide to the North American Teenager. Yeah, his new one, Charming as a Verb, which is the most random thing I've ever heard. A sharply funny and insightful novel about the countless hustles we have to keep from doing the hardest thing, being ourselves. That definitely will be a nice, light and fun read. 15th of September, this is probably out of all of these arcs, one of my most anticipated of all of them. And you'll see why. It is the new one from Tiffany D. Jackson called Grown. Firstly, look at that cover. How pretty is that? How pretty is that? Hold that thought. Look at the cover. Let me read you the synopsis, okay? Corey Fields is dead. When Enchanted Jones wakes with blood on her hands and zero memory of the previous night, no one, the police and Corey's fans included, has more questions than she does. All she really knows is that this isn't how things are supposed to be. Corey was Enchanted's ticket to stardom. Before there was a dead body, Enchanted was an aspiring singer, struggling with her tight-knit family's recent move to the suburbs, while trying to find her place as the lone black girl in high school. But then legendary R&B artist Corey Fields spots her at an audition, and suddenly her dream of being a professional singer takes flight. Enchanted is dazzled by Corey's luxurious life, but soon her dream turns into a nightmare. Behind Corey's charm and star power hides a dark side, one that wants to control her every move, with rage and consequences. Except now he's dead and the police are at the door. Who killed Corey Fields? All signs point to Enchanted. I know, right? How good does that sound? That is, I got a proof of that literally yesterday, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited. I will be reading that before September. I will definitely be reading that before September. We're still going in September though. On the 22nd, we have A Curse of Gold by Annie Sullivan, which is the follow-up to, I think it's A Touch of Gold was her first one. Yes, which is the idea of the kind of the mythology behind King Midas. So that is going to be another fascinating one. 22nd of September is going to be another one that I'm really, really excited about. New one from Garth Nix, The Left-Handed Booksellers of London. That title swung me. Garth Nix, it's going to be an amazing fantasy thing. I know there's alternate realities, there's kind of fights, and there's this and there's that, and I'm just absolutely sold on this one. I will quite happily be a right-handed seller of London anytime he wants. And I think the last one I have a definite date for, because I've got some to talk to you about that don't have publication dates, or I can't find publication dates for them yet, is going to be another one from Ashley Poston. She has 2 books coming out this year, but this sounds more YA fantasy. It's called Among the Beasts and Briars, and it is not out till October of 2020. This strikes me as a kind of fantasy fairy tale inspired retelling, inspiration, dark, danger, surviving. It just sounds like everything. And I mean, all of these books are just absolutely just beyond, aren't they? Just a quick mention for a few other ARCs that I have, but on Goodreads they don't have any release dates yet. I'll put all the covers here. We've got The Great Godden. That's how you say it, by Meg Rossoff. She is, I believe, a UK YA author, so I'm really interested to see what she does with that. We've got this most fabulous cover, Boy Queen by George Lester. Anyone getting Bianca Del Rio vibes from that cover? No? Just me? Can't wait. You know I love my RuPaul's Drag Race, and we absolutely stand anything to do with drag queens. Ignite the Sun by Hannah Howard also looks amazing. And finally, The Dark Lady, which I think might be out already, The Dark Lady by Akala, who is more known as a spoken word poet, and I believe this is his first venture into YA. How amazing, right? I am so blessed and I am so honoured. I know I am so privileged being in the role that I am as a librarian, that I get to have access to these things via NetGalley and Edelweiss, are the 2 websites that I mostly use, and I am very blessed. But I just wanted to share with you kind of what my ongoing ARC TBR is right now, so you'll know what you'll be hearing from me about in the next few months. I'm always keeping an eye on them, so if anything else comes up, particularly the new Mackenzie Lee, I will definitely be looking out for those and adding to that list. Are you excited about any of these titles? Is there anything that intrigues you? Is there anything that you'd really, really like me to do like a sole video review of? Hit me up down below. Come on, folks, give me some suggestions. But whatever you are doing, wherever you are, stay well, stay safe, look after yourselves. This has been Stagey Bookish. My name's Olivia. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!